Well, in this edition of the Richmond Stories, we're here in the Richmond Sentinel offices, obviously, and we're welcoming a first-time guest to the Richmond Sentinel. He is the new coach of the Richmond Sockeyes. Brien Gemmell, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're quite welcome. Well, you're the new guy in town. You're the new sheriff. You've got, looking at your resume, you've got a long history of youth and hockey and young developments and everything. The Sockeyes have a historically long history, 1972 being their inaugural year. How important was it to you personally to be selected to come and coach this storied franchise?
Well, obviously, to be able to coach one of the most iconic junior franchises in BC hockey, junior hockey, is a real honor for sure. And the opportunity to come here and work with this group and work with Will and Doug Paterson and the ownership group here to try and bring a championship back to Richmond was too good to pass up, and I'm just looking forward to that opportunity.
What is it that excites you about this team outside of its history and obviously the personnel here behind the scenes? As I said, you've been in the game a long time. You've seen a lot. What does a Brien Gemmell team look like, or what do you want the fans to notice about your team?
I think that we're going to work hard. Good character kids that go north-south up the ice. They get hard to the net, and they finish every check, and they play competitive hockey. We compete every night, and that's whether we're winning, whether we're behind. We got to compete right to the final buzzer, and fans are going to see that they're going to have to compete if they want to meet the challenges that we expect them to handle throughout the season. So.
It is, I guess it kind of goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway, that when young men get to this position, obviously they have talent. What do you consider over your decades in the business, what is vital? What do these young men need to have outside of the obvious talent?
Perseverance. They have to be resilient. They have to be able to control their emotions and keep, the game's a roller coaster, not just in game, but throughout the whole season.
Mm-hmm.
And we need them to understand that they're here to compete, but they got to be able to roll with the ups and downs and keep themselves in check so that they can not lose their minds, as they say.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean you're sculpting and building young men, their minds, everything. One of the things I've always read and seen firsthand about the Sockeyes is how well structured they are and how much attention they pay to the always important what's going on off the ice. But young men, as I said, how important is that, and what did you see that when you came?
Yeah, I mean they have a big presence off the ice, and again, being a good citizen in the community and being a good person is first and foremost if you're going to be a good hockey player and any good player for any team that you play on. So again, looking at this organization and how they conduct themselves in the community, we have that expectation that will continue, and we ask all of our players to be a part of this community as they move through the season.
You've been doing, as I keep saying, a long time. Has your philosophy changed? Have you seen things change? I think about when I was playing hockey till about 16. There are things that coaches did that you can't do anymore. You can't get overly disciplined. But how has your philosophy changed in the coaching of young players?
So I think the best way I can put it is that when you come onto the ice, operating like you're on a construction site doesn't work anymore.
Okay.
I think what I would say to any player that plays for me is that we're gonna and players fill many different roles. Mm-hmm. On a team, and that's just a fact of being on a team. You have players that are scorers, you have players that are checkers, you have players that play in penalty kill roles or power play roles. My main thing is when I talk to a player, it's this is what I need you to do, this is why I need you to do it, this is how it benefits you, and this is how it benefits the team.
That's an interesting point. I guess part of the journey and the challenge is getting a player to accept the fact that you're going to be a scrappy fourth liner, but that's really important. Is that part of what you have to instill to get, wins and losses aside, that goes without saying, but is that part of developing a winning attitude or formula in the dressing room and on the ice?
It's part of making sure that everyone's a part of the process. Because if you have a third and fourth liner that's part of that penalty kill or part of the checking line that's trying to stop the other team's best players from scoring, you build a lot in your room that way. Because at the end of the day, if everyone's involved in the process of the wins, and you're going to have some losses even when the process doesn't work, right?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of that, but they have to all feel like they're a part of the process and have a role in a meaningful way for the team to be effective. not just on the ice, but off the ice too.
You seem to be a guy that is really an example of do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. After all these years, what still gets you really your juices flowing?
I love practice.
Okay, yeah.
I love going out on the ice. I love the practices. I get excited to practice with the kids out there and help them get better. The games, we just get to go out and when we're on the bench there, right, we're making little tweaks in here, right, but it's the players that get out on the ice and do that, and they have to go out and do it, and we're here to help them. But I love going to the rink, and I love the atmosphere of the practices, talking to the kids, seeing how their day's going, but laying out the expectations for them and showing them what it takes to compete, not just on the ice sheet, but in life too. I mean, there's a lot you learn from this sport.
Yeah. This is excellent. Welcome.
Thank you.
Well, we've got somebody else joining us right now, a familiar face to the Richmond Sentinel. He has been with us many times here and at the rink. It is the president, owner, and I'm very happy to say former player from the younger days. Doug Paterson is here with us. Welcome. Let's carry on the conversation. Doug, we were talking to Brien about the team. I know that the season did not end in the way you wanted it to, but that is sports, of course. You had a great regular season. Talk a bit about, and Brien, you can jump in as well, about the playoffs is a different animal, different beast.
Yeah, it certainly is, and we certainly had a taste of that. But like I say, we got to try to learn from it. But the playoffs are a totally different season, and we knew we had a great year. You go 45-4, you've always done a lot of good things. But a lot of things can happen in the playoffs. Some of your big guns don't necessarily get the production you'd like. You run up against a hot goaltender, which is what we did. In the best out of 7 that we took to 7 games, we outshot the opposition 6 out of 7 games. And in the last game, we outshot them 42-16, and we lose 3-2. So not always the best team comes out with the 2 points. We saw that in the U.S.-Canada series, didn't we?
Yeah.
Very similar. But that's hockey.
Yeah, it is, and it's playoff hockey too.
Very much so.
Brien, how do you approach coming into a team like this that had a great regular season, disappointing playoffs, as Doug said, it happens in sports, compared to, say, coming in and taking on a team that, say, finished at the bottom? Obviously, 2 different approaches you got to take.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you can look at what the team did a previous year, right? But you have to kind of build on the players you have that you break camp with and build your team that way. And it's there's building blocks throughout the season. And so you use the regular season to fine tune what you're trying to do for the playoffs. And you want to put players, your current players and even past players that maybe were on those past teams, you want to put them in situations throughout the regular season that help them be more successful in the playoffs. We were at that stage. I mean, the Sockeyes last year went right down to Game 7, and we have to get over that hump. And how do we do that? We're working this off season to try and get there.
And both you can pick up on your versions of answers of this, but it also, one of the challenges you face that, say, the pros don't necessarily, is that you lose players like college teams do. Doug, we'll start with you. How much of a challenge is that when, say, you might lose 3 or 4 or 5 players?
Well, I guess if we had lost 3 or 4, that would be a good year, Jim. We're actually losing 9, but we've been through that before, and it's part of life. And so we could expect as little as 8 people back. We might have as high as 12. So that's about half. So it's up to us to we're out there forging ahead, and we're recruiting. The guys were out looking at recruitments today, and we've already started our skate. We had 37 guys out last night skating, and there's probably 7 or 8 guys that might have a chance to play for us. So it's a 12-month business, and like I say, the hockey season's 8, but we're actually working the avenues all the time for the 12-month duration of the year.
Yeah, that doesn't seem to really be a less important part of the year, does it? You think the summer would be to a casual fan, let's say, but that's equally important as to who you get.
And I mean, as you can appreciate, for 55 years, we do a fair amount of winning, and we are very proud of that. And when you win, there's a price of extra hard work because everyone wants to beat you. I always have a saying that the opposition doesn't allow their backup goaltender to come play at the Richmond ice, Richmond Mineral. But that's the reputation you get, and we're proud of it. And but our coaching staff are geared to make sure that our staff are ready and the players are ready each and every game.
Let's, we'll wrap it up on this, Brien. And you can jump in, Doug, of course. Let's talk a little bit more about the great supportive coaching staff you have. Okay, either one of you can get up.
Yeah, well, we're, like I say, we're very pleased. This is a great day for the Sockeyes to announce Brien. And like I say, I've known Brien for a number of years. He's got a great track record. He works well with people. And we've got some existing staff that will stay on board, and Brien is familiar with them. We're looking at one more addition, and Brian's working on that along with the other guys. So we feel that in the next month or so we'll have a full contingent, and like I say, we're pretty excited. And like I say, we've got to take care of some business that we didn't take care of last year. And we feel that we're in a good position to get ourselves ready for this year.
Last word to you.
Yeah, just obviously, the hard work that we're doing here with, our general manager, Will, and assistant GM, Matthew Stewart, with our coaching staff, and with Matthew and Bob, and we have Steve Daniels on board now with providing some really good intel for us stats-wise and insight. And so I'm looking forward to working with all of that group and putting a winning team on the ice this coming September.
One of the elements of the experience when you go to see a Sockeyes game, of course, is the in-house announcing. A guy I just met about 2 weeks ago at the banquet, and here he is. He's the new in-house announcer, Chris Dinnell. His car pronounces his name that way. Good to have you, and welcome aboard the family. This is great news.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to bringing some energy into the rink each night and getting the boys fired up as soon as they hit the ice.
Is this, we sat over the brunch at the banquet, you and I and Florence. Is this something you do? You've got great videos on social media. Check this guy's stuff out. It's pretty spectacular. Was this a new challenge? Or is this
It's a new challenge, yeah. I actually used to be a nightclub promoter in my younger, early 20s, so over 25 years ago, and was a DJ and did a lot of emceeing and done a ton of stuff. And now with work, I am a real estate agent, my wife and I and our team, and we do put a lot of video content out there. And that's how we connected with the Sockeyes last year, by doing some game day videos with each of the players, which was fun. I got to know all the players, and it really started to create a buzz in the city with people coming up to me because letting us know how they enjoyed the videos and enjoyed getting to know the players. And I think it was a benefit for both the Sockeyes and our real estate team, and it was just great to get out there, and it was fun. So,
gotta ask this: a lot of announcers have that great one-liner. Do you have one?
Well, it's funny. My wife's probably getting sick of me because I've been practicing in the house.
Okay, all right.
Richmond Sockeyes goal scored by number 4, Doug Paterson.
I think I can see why I got hired, actually. I suddenly feel like a 14-year-old girl with my voice. Well done. It was well
You
done.
won't be saying that very often because that wasn't a goal scorer, Chris.
Oh, come on, Dougie. You're scoring goals.
You were the former captain, correct?
That's correct.
Back in the day?
Yeah, 71-72,
Wow.
Inaugural season.
That's pretty cool.
No, Chris is a welcome addition. I haven't known Chris very long, but we've certainly really kicked it off well. And we worked together on a real great fundraiser for Wigs for Kids. And Chris has been a great supporter, him and Angela, for the Sockeyes. And he made it very clear he wanted to get involved. And so here we are. And we're excited to have him part of our in-house program.
Excellent. So you're like 4 or 5 coffees a game to keep that energy up?
You know, it's funny. I used to be addicted to Red Bull and drink like 3 to 5 Red Bulls a day. And people wonder, why do you ever drink Red Bull? You have a lot of energy. And I quit Red Bull almost 4 years ago. And I still have a ton of energy. So
well done.
good to go. We'll get the team fired up.
Excellent. Okay, let's get to our last guest right now. Doug, you do the honors and introduce our last guest.
Well, really pleased to have one of our players. He started as a 16-year with us last year, Gavin Dacpano, and he had an extraordinary year for his first year in the league, and we're excited to have him back for year 2, and looking forward to a real big year. I understand you had a great skate last night, and the boys were saying you're looking pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of off-ice training, getting the body ready for the next season, everything now builds up for next year, so yeah.
That's
and
great.
I guess, back to our younger playing days, just around the time they invented fire, I don't remember working out a lot during the summer. Did you? I mean,
Yeah,
because you guys
no.
have no time off, do you? Did you take a week or two off after the season was over?
I think right when the season ended, took about maybe 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
Get back at it.
Wow. It's all year. That's all year. How do you? Okay, now let's get you guys both to jump in here. New coach, new team. Talk about the dynamic as you're first getting started with the team. Start with you, Brien.
Well, obviously, getting out the last week here, yesterday I was able to get out, well, actually 2 weeks I was able to get out on our spring league and meet some of the returning players and also see some of the prospects that we're looking at that may be with us next year. And then last night we had a great skate with, obviously Gavin was skating there and other veteran players with prospects as well, and just getting to know them and seeing the energy that they bring to the rink. And that energy, it's still on in the off season too when they get out on that ice, right? They're competitive even though they're not really playing in regular season and playoffs at the moment, but it's still competitive and it's good to see, and just good to see their energy.
I got to ask you. Last year was your freshman season.
Yes, it were.
Everybody goes through this if you play sports long enough. How hungry or more hungry are you now after the way the season ended? Great regular season, playoff disappointment, new season, a new page. How hungry are you and some of your teammates?
Getting that back at that playoffs series gets lately, losing in Game 7, right when we lost, I was like, it's tough loss. But, looking at it now, it's kind of the fuel to my fire for winning the chip next year.
Excellent. Yeah, who was it once said you learn more from losing actually than you do from winning? So
Yeah, if you lose, you got to learn, right? And then and so that's really important that you get that fire going. And like I said, I'm looking forward to obviously working with Gavin and he'll obviously feel more confident this season too, being in his second year, and look forward to big things from him.
excellent. Hey, I think maybe it's appropriate to let Chris have the last word here. And I don't want to put you on the spot, but can you give us one of those in-house announcer voices to say when the first game is?
See, what's the date of the game? The first
Turns it right after Labor Day. So go September 7th, 8th, or in around there.
Game 1 of the Richmond Sockeyes, September 7th, Thursday night, 7:30, down to the fish tank. Don't miss it.
I won't, and I can't do any better than that. Thanks for watching this edition of Richmond Stories, and thanks to all the team and the group members from the Richmond Sockeyes. This has been another Richmond Stories here at the offices of the Richmond Sentinel.